In this session, we are going to discuss some context questions from the short story, The Lumber Room. There are some model questions that may appear at the examination in your exam paper. Okay. Write down question number 1. Question number 1. Only that morning, he had refused to eat his wholesome bread and milk on the seemingly frivolous ground that there was a frog. Only that morning he had refused to eat his wholesome bread and milk on the seemingly frivolous ground that there was a frog. Question A. From where are these lines taken? Who wrote them? Who wrote them? Question B. Question B. Who is referred to as he? Who is referred to as he? Question C. Question C. Where does this action take place? Question D. Why does this he refuse bread and milk? For question A, B, C, you are given only 1 mark. Therefore, you need not write long answers. Short answers are quite enough. For the question D, you are given 2 marks. Therefore, your answer should be somewhat descriptive, because it's a critical type. The question is quite often critical type question. Therefore, you have to write descriptively. 2 marks are given. Right. Now you can write the answers. Take few minutes and answer the questions as far as possible and send them to me. Now let's discuss answers for the first question. Only that morning he had refused to eat his wholesome bread and milk on the seemingly frivolous ground that there was a frog. From where are these lines taken? Who wrote them? From the short story, The Lumber Room. Who wrote them? Saki. The Lumber Room, T capital, L capital, R capital, inverted commas, Saki, S capital, Saki. Novi, your D answer is too long. You have the idea, but it's too long. Right? The Lumber Room, Saki. If you want that 1 mark, you have to write it in this way. Otherwise, you are not given that 1 mark. Who's referred to as he, Nicholas? Where does this action take place? At the breakfast table. Why does he refuse bread and milk? Yes. Frog. Write down. Nicholas refuses his breakfast. Complaining or claiming, C-L-A-I-M-I-N-G, claiming that there is a frog. There is a frog in the breakfast bowl. In the breakfast bowl. but elders refuse Nicholas' claim. But elders refuse Nicholas' claim. Don't write everything you know about Nicholas and the story. You have to answer according to the context. According to the context. Context එකට අනුවම උත්තරේ ලියන්න. දන්න ඔක්කොම ලියන්න යන්න එපා. Why? 2 marks. ලකුණු 2යි. Second question. Older and wiser and better people had told him that there could not possibly be a frog in his bread and milk, and that he was not to talk nonsense. Now, 4 questions are given. Please try to answer. Question number 2. Old and wise and better people had told him that there could not possibly be a frog in his bread and milk, and that he was not to talk nonsense. Now, question number A, from which text are these lines extracted? Who is the writer? From the short story, The Lumber Room. Saki. Writer is Saki. Who are the people referred to in the underlined words? Who are these people? Elders at Nicholas' house. Elders of Nicholas' house. Elders of Nicholas' house. What is this nonsense? Nonsense. What is this nonsense? He was not to talk nonsense. What is the idea of this nonsense? Yes, Pasindu, correct. Very good. A frog in Nicholas' breakfast ball. Yes, Hiranya, correct. A frog in Nicholas' breakfast ball. That is the contextual meaning. අවස්ථානුකූල සම්බන්ධ මේ තේරුම ඒකයි අවස්ථාවට අනුව. A frog in Nicholas' breakfast ball. Contextual meaning. How do you describe the situation between he and people? Now you see, this is somewhat complex question. He means children. People means elders. Now there is a conflict between he and people. It means Nicholas and elders, children and elders, young generation and old generation, in broader terms, in deep terms. Right? You have to describe this situation. Describe. There is an argument, conflict between them. The elders are not ready to believe what children say. Yes, write down. There is a conflict. There is a conflict between Nicholas and the elders of the house. Elders of the house. About a frog. About a frog in his breakfast ball. about a frog in his breakfast bowl. Full stop. The elders do not believe. The elders do not believe what Nicholas says. What Nicholas says. The situation depicts how elders arrogantly, arrogantly, arrogantly rejects what children say without proper investigation. Proper investigation. INVESTIGATION. Soya belly. Proper investigation. Question number 3. He continued nevertheless to talk what seemed the various nonsense and describe with much detail the coloration and markings of the alleged frog. From where are these lines taken? Who wrote them? Who is this he? What is this various nonsense? What qualities of this he do these words imply? Question number 3. He continued nevertheless to talk what seemed the various nonsense and described with much detail the coloration and markings of the alleged frog. Now you know the answer for the question A, no problem. Who is this he? He refers to Nicholas. He refers to Nicholas. What is the various nonsense? The same thing here, nonsense. Frog in the in his meal, yes, breakfast bowl. Frog in the breakfast bowl. What qualities of this he do these words imply? Now you can see Nicholas is quite argumentative, logical. Yes, logical and factual. And straightforward. Write down. In this situation, Nicholas depicts, in this situation, Nicholas depicts his straight, S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T, straightforward, logical, argumentative, A-R-G-U-M-E-N-T-A-T-I-V-E, argumentative, and factual, F-A-C-T-U-A-L, factual nature, in presenting his opinions. In presenting his opinion. Right. Now, in our next session, we'll discuss some more contextual questions.